Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Fabi, and today I'm going to bring you part 1 of my cheap travel series, where, as you can tell from the title, is going to teach you guys the cheapest way to travel around the world and the easiest, most comfortable way possible. So in this part, I'm going to teach you guys how to get to the place you want to go to and how to choose a place you want to get to according to your modes of transportation. I have curated 4 ways that are the most common you're going to use to travel around, and those are by car, by bus, by train, and by plane. So stay tuned till the end of the video because you're gonna find the cheapest way to find a flight to wherever you want to go. But before we get started, let me know in the comments below what is your favorite way to get around and the one you found the most convenient and cheap. So the first form of transportation would be by car. The good thing about cars is that first, it's a road trip, which is fun. 2, you can split the cost between friends if you go with a few friends. And 3, that you can take your car and rent it in one city and drop it off at another. So say you go to Europe and you travel there by plane, but you don't want to move around, you want to move around at leisure. So you can rent a car and rent it, say, in Berlin and return it in Rome. It won't be an issue, usually. The bad side of renting a car, though, is that first you're going to have to pay for gas. And especially if you're traveling through Europe, gas is expensive as balls. So you're gonna have to pay for gas, you're gonna have to find parking, which is not easy all the time. And if you're not going with friends, it's probably gonna be kind of boring. For me, I like that it's very flexible because you're taking charge of your own adventure. Next most common one would be by bus. Now, bus is probably my least favorite one because you're gonna pay just as much as a train is gonna cost you, probably a little bit less. It's going to be a lot slower and it's going to be kind of uncomfortable. The good thing is that if you find a really cheap deal, it's going to be incredibly cheap. So for example, I'm going in April, I'm going to go to Liverpool and I plan on going from Manchester to Liverpool by bus, and the buses are like $3, and so I mean that is a pro, and I know it's only like a 2-hour sort of commute. But if it's like, for example, I just went to Zaragoza with the Quidditch team, it was like a 4-hour drive, which took everyone else like 2.5, 3 hours, and it was like 25 euros each way. So for me, bus is not my favorite, but I mean, usually it's, you can buy it on the same day without issue if you just randomly choose to travel somewhere, but it's usually a little bit uncomfortable and a lot slower than other modes of transportation. It's not my favorite, at least. The third one, and probably the second most common, is the train. So trains usually are going to have either like a speed train or a bullet train or a regular slow train. What I like about trains is that first, you don't have to deal with an airport, and it's usually going to be, if you buy a fast train, it's going to be around the same price and around the same time as a flight. But on the flip side, if you don't catch it on a good day, you're going to have to pay more than a flight, and it's usually going to take around the same time as a flight, so you might as well just fly there. And usually train stations are kind of secluded and far away from the city, so you're going to have to like really plan to get to a train station. Also, if you're in the States, trains are not usually that common between cities unless you're like in the Northeast, and that's about the only place you're going to find planes. But that's usually around the only place you're going to find trains. And if you're in Europe, it's a really good option, especially if you have time and you can take the slower trains, because then you're going to be able to travel for cheap. It's going to be fairly comfortable, and you're going to have to get to see the countryside, which you wouldn't get to on a plane. Last of all, as I promised, is flights. And flights are probably the ones I've used, or is definitely the one I've used the most. It's also, when you're traveling through Europe, it's incredibly cheap to fly. Like, I can tell you, I got to Berlin for 10 euros, like from Cologne to Berlin for 10 euros, and I got from Barcelona to Cologne for 27 euros. To me, that's like mind-blowing. So the places I get my flights are exclusively Skyscanner. That is a magical website that I found, and it is not sponsored, but it's so good. It's especially because it'll give you options to choose like either a destination and you can look at the whole month, or you can choose to travel like open schedule whenever you want and whatever destination they have, and you can just choose whatever the cheapest option there is. And it is all like, it is such a good tool, because more than once I've been like, oh, I have a long weekend, what can I do? Let me see what the prices on Skyscanner are. And honestly, if it hadn't been because I usually have Quidditch practice and I'm the coach, that I would have traveled so many places over weekends that I've had like Thursdays off, so I have 4 full days off. And it's honestly such a fantastic website that I use without fear. I think they're fantastic and I would honestly recommend it. Another option that I use a lot is Ryanair, which usually you can get the flights from Skyscanner to Ryanair, and most of the flights I've used so far have been Ryanair. But the good thing about going straight through Ryanair is that sometimes you'll have options that you wouldn't have seen on Skyscanner. But usually Skyscanner will even give you options like connecting to different flights that are super cheap. So for example, when I returned from Dublin, because it's Easter, prices got kind of high. So what usually would have been like 90 something euros from Dublin to Barcelona, Skyscanner was like, what if you go through Manchester? So I'm doing Dublin, Manchester, Barcelona for like 60 something euros as opposed to 90 something. So I'm saving myself like a full day's worth of food. Of course, there's like the cons of traveling through plane, and I think we all know them. Dealing with airports is not fun. I found that within Europe, traveling is pretty like chill. You don't have to take your shoes off. There's a lot less like take everything off and get naked and like go through here, go through there. But in the US, it's obnoxious to travel, and I understand why you wouldn't want to travel through plane. Also, you have to buy it with a lot of anticipation usually to get a really good deal. But it's honestly, to me, is the best way to get around when you want to go like to different places and you have a limited time, because at least for myself, I am able to, I got from Cologne to Berlin in an hour and a half, and I had the whole afternoon still open. So it's very, very useful when it comes to things like that, where you have limited days to be in a place, because you get there really quickly for probably a lot less money than it would cost you to take a train or something similar. When I was setting up that trip to Germany, I honestly was looking, because Cologne is pretty close to Amsterdam, and at that point when I was planning that trip, I didn't know if I was going to Dutch Cup, which I ended up going. So I was looking at Amsterdam as an option to go from Cologne, and I was looking at trains, and honestly a train to Amsterdam was so much more expensive than a flight to Berlin that I ended up going for Berlin, because again, 10 euros to get there. So if you use Skyscanner, you're usually going to get a really good deal. If you're in the States, use Spirit. Spirit has a lot of ways of getting really cheap flights. So for example, if you buy online with Spirit, it'll cost you twice as much as if you go to the office. So when Jules was planning to go to regionals for FIU, she bought her tickets through Spirit, and what she did was she went to the office, and what would have cost her, I think, was like $40 something to get to Atlanta from Miami, it ended up costing her like $20 something. So those little tricks that that Spirit puts forth for you, just knowing that, you go to the office or you buy them at the counter at the airport, is a lot cheaper than actually buying them online. So just know those little things, because those are the little things that usually get you. Also, erase your cookies and your history on your computer before you go looking through these websites, and usually do it in like a Tuesday afternoon. Like, those are the best times to buy flights. And, that's how I've saved the most money, honestly, using Skyscanner on incognito, and sometimes going up to the counter to buy the flights, because they'll usually give you a better deal. I hope you found this useful and you start on your journey of choosing where to go. I know that's usually how I've chosen like my travels, like, oh, what's the cheapest place I can go to? There? Cool, let's go. In the comments below, again, let me know what your favorite mode of travel is, and if you found any of this useful, and I will see you guys on Saturday. Bye!